Alright, welcome back to Cannabis in Canada with Jason Wilcox. It is Sunday, I believe it's Sunday anyway. It's July something, July the 7th. I've been out with my dog all day in the sun. I don't know if it's sunstroke or all the weed, but either way I managed to go through my whole jar today. I've got this nice nug here for tonight, and then I'll be back off to the usual routine. It seems like it's just study these days. Trying to catch up to business post-legalization, and most importantly is psychologically dealing with, on a personal note, medically. When you're dealing with stuff, I call it post-COVID. I think there's a lot of us out there that are suffering to a degree post-COVID or post-isolation. It's not normal for people to be isolated. I learned that as a kid and young offender, but it's it's not a good thing, and it's not a normal thing. It's not something people can tell you, oh, it's normal to be that way. So if you're wondering what the noise is, it's just a noise in the background. I'm able to check here on comments. I'm trying to see who's in here. Good afternoon to everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful, blessed up Sunday, and of course you're staying lit. And it's that time of the year. Finally, we got some sun back. People are out there having a good time. I had a great time out with my dog. It's been a little while since just getting out for a good long hike with your dog. It's, I don't know, it's something everyone should do. It's like when you have kids, you should go for a nice long hike with your kid. Like I used to always do that with my daughter. And now that that's missed, I go for nice long hikes with my dog. And I'm sure my dog appreciates it just as much as my daughter did. So, yeah. And I see Joanne's on here tonight. Again, congratulations to all of our Cannabis Day winners. That was a lot of different seeds and stuff that we gave out. I don't know, that camera seems like it's on a funny angle when I'm looking at it here, but it's probably just in my head. I'm not going to worry too much about it. But yeah, tonight's show I wanted to talk again. I guess we'll start off with just post-COVID. I guess what I'm trying to get at, there seems to be more and more, I guess statistically speaking, let's just look at America. I know it's a disaster over there, and nothing against my American friends, I love you, but my God, your country is a disaster right now. And if everything that they're reporting on the news is true, again, I don't trust the news just as much. It's mainstream media, it's controlled by either the right or the left, and right now the right's in power. I understand the basic political structure of America. What I don't understand is why they're allowing their country to be destroyed by a virus, and then to continue to lie and to block people. It's almost like a game of chess is going on, only it's us that's suffering. Maybe not as much here in Canada. Like here in BC, I have yet to meet or know a person that knows anybody that died in their family from COVID. So I'm not saying it's not real. Again, it's just it's not seeing the mass outpouring you think you would see if 130,000 people had died in America, as they say have. Where's all the funerals? Where's all the memorials on Facebook? And they're certainly not censoring them. You have a right to mourn the loss of somebody you loved, but we're not seeing that on social media in the numbers that we've seen after 9/11, for instance. After 9/11, it was just the whole social media, Facebook, Twitter, didn't matter. It was all about, the past loved ones. And that was only a few thousand people. That wasn't 130,000 people. That's a mass casualty number. That's more than any war almost, aside from the World War I and II. I'm not sure how many we lost there, but I know Vietnam we didn't lose as many. So it's a lot of people to lose to one virus. Anyway, we have I don't know, it's something I have to think about. I'm looking at the comments here for YouTube. I don't know if we're live on Facebook, because I don't know whether it's just not allowing it. Oh, it's because I decided not to go to Facebook tonight. So what I'm going to do is actually share my link around. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get my regular viewers to even know that I'm on the air again. This is the first show in literally since January when I broke up with my ex. I took that time off to kind of, you go through certain things in life and you just got to refocus on yourself. So everybody takes those breaks, and if you haven't learned how to do that, that's another important step in life, is learning how to step back, step away, and not worry about what everybody else is saying. Most importantly, worry about, you know, what are you going to do about the present situation and the present situation that you're in. And you know, it's always unfortunate when things happen. And there I am. Okay, so I'm live on this channel here, Facebook. I haven't opened up this one yet to be able to check you guys. And I'm completely not organized for tonight's show, clearly, and I'm not worried about that part being out there. You know, I watch some of these other podcasts that are online, and people are on there, but they're talking about nothing. They're just talking about, oh man, this weed is so cool. Just look at how dense it is. Do you see the trichomes? Fucking let's smoke a bowl, man. And if that's the kind of show you're looking for, you're not going to find it here. You're going to find a show here that's kind of wild some days and crazy some days, and quite frankly rude some days, because I have to be. And other days you'll see the show run perfectly normal. Oh, I hate this thing. I don't know how to use it yet. You guys would understand now. I finally figured out how to turn it into a mouse, so at least I'm able to navigate. Boy, the boys are just out riding tonight. Just friggin' circling the whole friggin' neighborhood. Downtown here, you can just hear when the bikes rip by, because you know the club's just over the bridge there, but the friggin' they just it just seems louder than normal to me right now. Anyway. Huh. No, I guess I'm not gonna be broadcasting there. I'm interested in why I'm having so much trouble with the new YouTube platform, and maybe you guys are okay, you're able to dual broadcast, but it's not allowing my broadcast to go through right now. So they won't allow that video to go through, and that's even going through an RTMP server, so I am bypassing their general security, but I'm not gonna hack the very people that sponsor me. That wouldn't be smart. I should be able just to paste that down. Bear with me for 2 minutes, guys. I can throw you onto a commercial, or I can do this, and I think this would just be smarter. Just give me a sec here to figure out what's going on with my channel. Yeah, so we're live, no problem. That's the live feed. You know, I'll show your, I'll promote you this one time. Reno, don't keep on coming on my show though and promoting your own grow show. I like to stick with growers promoting each other, but at the same time, I want to be careful with who I promote, because I don't know you. If I actually knew you and watched your show or worked with you on a project, I would support you 110%. Like Rainbow's a good friend of mine. I've grown with him for years. It'd be somebody that I would speak for, you know, and be able to support. So I'll let it go this one time, but please don't keep self-promoting on the channel. Don't really appreciate that. I am glad you're doing a grow show. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't want it to seem like I'm endorsing the show, and then it might be a show that's giving misinformation versus qualified growing information, and that matters a lot to me. I've been doing this, I'm ranked number 9 in the world, and I've been doing this since 2007. So being one of the OGs that started all this shit, you know, before we were ever called influencers, I really worry about that kind of stuff. So hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. And I do wish you luck on your channel. I hope that you can level it up properly, but you know, there's ways to get forward in this game, and it's not jumping on someone's track. When you jump on the show, then you know it's more likely you're going to get asked not to promote yourself on their show. Grow 2020 sub, you're right. Sounds right time. Everyone, are you in different situations? Yes. No, this is true, and this is why I'm saying, I mean, if I knew you, or if I came to Ontario for a visit and we hung out for the weekend and you showed me your grow and I knew that you were 100% capable of what you were doing based on our conversations, you know, I'd have a lot more confidence saying, go ahead and promote your show. It's not that I don't want to, I mean, there's 600 different shows out there on YouTube. I'm ranked number 9. I'm really not concerned about numbers. Numbers actually hurt people. People go and they buy all these numbers and they put the numbers really high. You know, like 100,000 people are watching my show, you know, and they buy the numbers because they can afford to buy the numbers. But now these corporations are smart. They've caught on to this, so they go and they put your URL through a bot. And that bot goes and it checks and it fucking does its work on YouTube, and it'll come back and it'll spit out the truth. How many people are really watching your channel and how many people are really doing what. And when they realize that you're pretty much doing the same range that either I'm doing or other average people are doing, you know, then you fall on your face and you get made out to be a phony. Worst part about it is when you're made out to be a phony, because I believe organic influencers are the best way to go, because at least we're organic. When you look at our numbers, you know they're real. When you look at our comments are always 10% of our total views or in that general area. And if they're not, then that person is dialing their channel. And I'll call every friggin' YouTuber out on it, because they're either doing that or they're funneling. And either way, it's all a illegal tactic to get high numbers. Because people believe if just by saying 1 million people watch my show, that's going to make people come back and watch more. Or people are going to actually come and buy shit from you. That might be what you believe. It doesn't mean people are going to buy shit from you. You know, it really doesn't. My YouTube still trips me out. It has this friggin', when I'm talking, it actually shows what I'm saying on this computer anyway. But, anyway, I wish you all the best, and especially out in Ontario there. If you're out, geez, Northern Ontario, I don't know whereabouts you are. There's a few different people I know down in that area. And they're mostly indoor growers, but I'm sure like any grower, we all have our projects outdoors in the summer. You know, like that's just common sense. That's where the plant came from. So it'd be normal to go right back to that direction. But we also gave, now we're going to, in the second half of the show, we're going to get into MedMen seeds and some genetics and breeding and the ability. I have checked into these seeds. They're not feminized, so they're very much so. If you won the prize, then it's a base for you to start breeding from. You would know the lineage, you'll know the stability, and you'll be able to have a base, male or female, whatever you choose to use it as, you know, for your breeding project. You know, and we'll talk a little more about that in the second half. But right now, who else is out there suffering from COVID anything? Isolation, 14 months, or 4 months of isolation, 6 months of lies, and now we find out that they've contact traced this virus all the way back to last year. Now America is testing at 20% positive rate. It means for every 100 people that are tested, 20 of you are positive. That's fucking scary. I'll point everybody to the Georgia stones. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but when something actually has been erected and is real and is standing there and they have pictures and they know all about it, well then you need to take a look at what it says. And when I talk about population control, of course they don't want to light off nuclear bombs and blow up their own factories and cities. They need to kill the population without killing the infrastructure. Call me crazy, but check into that shit. I mean, honestly, it's something that population control is called the Georgia Guidestones. Just Google it, the Georgia Guidestones, and they will tell you and they will read how it's written in multiple languages. I mean, really, it has all the fingerprints of the Freemasons, but nobody really knows. There's so many secret societies. Nobody really knows. Other than it's the aristocrats, it's the rich motherfuckers that can afford to go live on an island while they kill everybody else and keep everybody away from a virus. I'm not saying that's what's going on. I'm just pointing out this is something that we've already been told. It's already in the news. In fact, I'm going to pull up the Georgia Guidestones. On that note, I should just do that myself. I don't know why I talk about shit without backing it up. And the only reason I bring this up is because it is what it is. Here, they even got their own Wikipedia page. Let me just slide this over for you guys. Oh, I got this backwards. One sec here. This has to be over here, and this has to be over here. All right. So we'll send this over. I'm going to close this box off here. The only reason I bring this up is because there you go. It is what it is.
Now,
here,
Georgia Guidestones, so they have their own Wikipedia page. It lends credence to the stones. So this is a picture of the stones.
Oh, I got this backwards.
Think I was joking? I'm not joking. And
this
the thing about the stones is what is the ominous writing on them. It says the Georgia Guidestones are a granite monument erected in 1980 in Howard County, Georgia, in the United States. It says this box off here.
The only reason I bring this up is because
modern languages.
It is what it is.
Now, Georgia Guidestones, so they have their own Wikipedia page for ancient credence to the stones. So this is a picture of the very highly elite, very highly educated, and the thing about the stones, the monument stands at approximate elevation of 700 feet, 230 granite monument erected in 1980 in Howard County, Georgia. It says this box off here. The only reason I bring this up is because modern languages. Now, Georgia Guidestones, so they have their own Wikipedia page for ancient credence to the stones. This is a picture of the very highly elite, very highly educated, and the thing about the stones, the monument stands at approximate elevation of 700 feet, 230 granite monument additional so it's actually the monument stands sometimes So this is a picture of the very highly educated, and the thing about the stones, the monument stands at approximately elevation of 700 feet, 230 granite monument erected in 1980 in Howard County, Georgia. It says this box off here. The only reason I bring this up is because modern languages. Now, Georgia Guidestones, so they have their own Wikipedia page for ancient credence to the stones. This is a picture of the very highly elite, very highly educated, and the thing about the stones, the monument stands sometimes approximate elevation of 700 feet, 230 granite monument additional so it's actually
So anyway, that's something that, again, I would point to the Georgia Guidestones only because they say that they're going to get rid of 50% of the population. And that's serious to me. You want to get rid of 50%, or sorry, 50%, 90% of the world's population so that humanity can continue. It's a scary thought when all of a sudden a virus comes out that is, and remember, I had one of my YouTube shows ripped down really early by talking about the fact that a virus needs a host to live in. So it can't just sit on a random surface and stay alive, you know, for 24 hours. Unless it's been weaponized in some way in a laboratory, a general virus, from what we know about viruses under virology, can't say that right, I'm stoned, but basically what we know about viruses tells us it can't sit on that surface. Now, does everybody remember when, buy the blue gloves, buy the mask? Now, don't get me wrong, I'll talk about the mask. I agree with the mask. But what I'm talking about is the gloves. Everybody was supposed to get gloves. Wear gloves in public. Wear gloves everywhere you go. Don't touch nothing, you know. I get it when you're serving my food and stuff at a restaurant, but it was different when I understood that the virus couldn't live on the surface. The virus could not live on the surface. And I'd also note that the banks, for months now, have been taking nothing, or sorry, most of the companies, corporations, have been taking nothing but plastic. And the banks have been taking in all the cash. Bringing out more fears for me for a cashless society, a moneyless society, where it's all digital. And again, Chinese are not far off with that with their technology. I mean, their G5, their AI technology that they have in space. I mean, the stuff that China has, it makes us look extremely weak. And I think right now we are extremely weak, and we should be paying more attention than what we actually are. I just have to be honest. I don't feel we're paying enough attention, and that's what's going to cost us. Again, you gotta remember they said at the beginning that this only attacks the elderly. It doesn't attack the youth. Then they say it's asymptomatic. You know, like people with HIV that are on treatment. You know, you're asymptomatic. You have the virus, but you can't really give it to anybody. You know, they're only in their case it's the opposite. It's asymptomatic in the sense that they don't show any symptoms, but they can transmit. You know, and they're able to give it to everybody. This is the whole thing. It's an antiretroviral. HIV is an antiretro. You see, when you're talking about antiretrovirus, HIV is an antiretrovirus, so is COVID. So you start thinking about them in the same process. And then you start asking yourself, why haven't they been using more HIV meds? Well, finally, this one you're hearing so much promise about, this, it ends in vir. You're hearing about it on the news, saving people's lives. That's only because it's an HIV drug. All drugs that end in vir are HIV antiretrovirals. Is COVID potentially the next HIV? HIV is now a manageable disease and can't be transferred through sex, as you see on TV, if the person's managing their life properly and taking their medication. That's positive. So you have to then ask yourself, COVID has not a single thing they can use against it yet officially, but once they do, think about how much money it's going to be worth. It could be a huge, huge global economy, especially testing at 20% in America. You know how many people are going to run out and spend thousands of dollars to save their lives with either one vaccine or one treatment or whatever? I don't know if anybody's thought about this, but HIV, it made billions for pharmaceutical industry. Billions. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they don't come out with a vaccine in the next couple of years while they're searching for the COVID vaccine and say it was accidental. I wouldn't be a bit surprised, but there's a reason they stopped searching for a vaccine, because they didn't care. There wasn't 20% of the population dying. Or at least, 20% of the population testing positive. But in 40 years or 35 years, whatever it's been, there's been no virus or there's been no vaccine for HIV. And it's an antiretrovirus. If it's so damn easy, and consider, I will also note that it mutates. The fact that COVID mutates, it mutates like HIV does. HIV has mutated multiple times. If you catch the wrong strain of HIV, you could be drug resistant to all the drugs, all 30 plus drugs combinations that are available to everybody else won't be available to you because you got that one strain, that one person that was already drug resistant, probably like me, 27 years positive, 28 years positive, so they've been on a lot of drugs over the years, and all of a sudden you're drug resistant. So you have to go on human trials right away. Your life has just been shortened down from, you know, the full life you could have had to the no life. And that's from an unmanageable patient, a patient that's not taking their medication, a patient that's maybe messed up on drugs, maybe living on the street and just can't properly take their medications. Then they keep changing their medications because they build drug resistance. Same thing can happen with COVID. There's already 4 strains of COVID. We've been told this. There's 4 strains of COVID. Nobody wants to talk about, they just want to talk about one strain. There ain't going to be no one vaccine. The one vaccine will work on COVID-19. One strain. Then there's the one from the Netherlands. There's ones that they're not even talking about yet. They're only talking about how COVID can mutate. They're finally talking about it. 4 months ago, I mentioned it on my show. My show got ripped down. That was enough for me. When I seen that they were ripping my show down because I was simply talking about the fact, like I'm saying now, I'm going to see if this show gets ripped down. You know, over the fact that we know COVID cannot sit outside a host. If I had COVID, I couldn't sit there and allow it to spit on the table and say it's going to live in those spores for much longer than till the spores start to dry up. It needs a host. And again, if you don't believe me, ask your phone. If you got your phone handy, say, okay, Google, can you get it? Ask Google. Say, does a virus need a host? It's a simple question that Google will not lie. That's what I like about Google, and I use it all the time against the government because it's fucking awesome. It doesn't lie. Ask Google, and it will tell you straight up. That's why nobody's worrying about wearing gloves anymore out in public. Nobody's worried about looking like fucking goddamn space clowns. I think there's more to COVID. I'm going to say that now, and I'm going to continue to say it on my show until I see something different. I believe that there's more to it. I believe it's a weaponized virus of some sort. I don't believe that it was naturally evolving from animals like we've seen with other viruses and other plagues and stuff in the past. But then again, I'm no scientist or genius. All I know is that people were working on COVID in a lab, admittedly, in China and America. So either one could be to blame for who released what, where, and when. I don't know if we'll ever know. But the new norm is not my new norm. Their new norm is, I believe, if I'm right, people will continue to die, then it will be a population control in a much higher rate. Right now, I believe social unrest is the bigger concern. The Black Lives Matter movement, just as it is, you know, going around doing what it's doing, it's going to start a national, international push against the governments that I fear could bring about civil collapse. I've often said, so 4 months of isolation can bring about really bad in people. That's why I was talking about it on tonight's show. It can actually bring out a lot of bad symptoms in people that already suffer from PTSD, that have already been in war zones, that have already seen a lot of shit. And then all of a sudden you lock them up and they don't know what the future holds, you know. And then there's the mothers and you know, and the fathers that have to worry about their kids and how they're going to feed them and how they're going to look after them. If COVID does mutate, and I prove to be right, you guys will look back on this channel, sort of like with the government, how I kept being right about predicting what the government's next move was. I truly believe there's more to COVID. I've said this, my sister and I debate this all the time. I love her to death, but we debate this all the time because I do believe that there's more to it. I don't believe it was just 1 or 2 people doing this, you know. I don't believe that it just came from some animal and transferred it over to a human. However, when you Google this shit and you do your homework, you find out that it is possible for certain viruses to cross over to humans. At the same time, you can weaponize a virus in a lab. So for us to not think that if we can make, you know, drones that are the size of flies that can fly in and just drop off shit, why couldn't a drone just fly in and drop off some spores and you just get 5 or 6 people sick and just let it spread? There's all kinds of theories. Nobody still knows the origins of HIV. I'm gonna die not knowing the origins of what killed me. There's a fucking reality that I gotta face. I think about that shit all the motherfucking time. Did they just drop some weapon over Africa and test fire some biological weapons that they'd see how it works for killing off a population? Or was this truly somehow crossed over? And once they discredited the monkey theory that the monkey version of HIV can't live in a human, once they discredited that, it put me back to the lab. And then I think they came out with SARS and H1N1 bird flu and so on and so forth because they continue to look for and fuck with Mother Nature. So anyway, enough. That covers the first half of the show. I wanted to get that out there, let you guys know that COVID is on my mind. It is on everybody's mind. Thank God I don't know any friends and brothers and sisters that are suffering from it right now. You know, honestly, like this is the best thing. At the same time, it's not something I'm going to try to report on as being yes or no. Rather, this is where we're at. So I'm going to go off to a break here, play a short video. Now the police have been coming and bothering medical patients, not in this province yet. I say yet because they always do this province by province. So to my friends in New Brunswick, to my friends in Nova Scotia, to my friends in Alberta, I've heard you. There's not a lot legally we can do. If you're under injunction and you're at your address, you are protected. But if they're new community safety teams, if they come to your house, you almost have to let them in. It's like a no-knock warrant. Any of you criminals out there that have done time and know the yard and understand the difference between a no-knock warrant and a warrant, okay? A no-knock warrant is the one that you're gonna get you don't want to answer the door for. You want to stand back about 4 feet because they're gonna come through with a battering ram, you know. The worst part about it is they knock first and then they hit it with the fucking battering ram, usually when you're in front of the door, to make sure that you're incapacitated when they come through it. Just a point of fact, if you're in any trouble, don't fuck around with the CSU units. But if they start now like they're doing it's sad, they're doing this across Canada, but they're doing it not in Ontario and BC. They're not doing it here yet where we have lawyers and growers that are willing to fight them, you know, on the issue of whether they could be coming in and doing more than what they're doing. It's one thing to come in and inspect a show and make sure that goes. You have to remember that in British Columbia anyway, they cannot have police come with them for a municipal inspection. It's not a civic warrant. So they don't have any legal warrant to come in your house. They have no legal right to be in your house unless you say it's okay. I'm going to play this video where the police officer, I put that right to him, and the officer admits that, well, if you let us in, then that would be okay. Now, if you want to come up against a 12-member or 13-member or 20-member squad of city workers, engineers, fucking fire department, police, they all friggin' roll up on your shit. And they call themselves a community safety unit. They've just exposed you to your whole neighborhood. That's first thing. Second thing, you'll learn in this video. I've played it many times because it's one of the things that is real. I was lucky enough to have somebody with the balls to stand there and film it, because it's not easy when you got a bunch of cops looking through your door and you're filming them. You're putting a camera in their face, and they know they're on audio and video. We don't know if they're going to come through that fucking door, tear it apart. There was a gang war going on. This is very old. This goes back to 2008. This is long before we did the coalition and shit. But this was their response after John Conroy and I sued them, because their first thing was to just break in my house and cut my plants off, you know, half of them, cut them down, and then leave me a sorry note. They didn't know I was a medical patient. And I responded with that by calling back one of their officers, filming that officer, admitting to cutting down the plants, you know, which is your evidence that you then give to your lawyer, and your lawyer has that as basically solid audio video evidence of an officer admitting that yes, they cut down your plants. The rest is just how much money can you get for it. And it's not easy. You got to prove how much that plant's worth, how much it grows every day, how much electricity is used. So you need an electrician, you need a botanist, and luckily I had Matt Barron at the time, who I had once testified for to help keep him out of jail. It's funny how life works. That came back, and he was my botanist in that one, and he's now known as the House of the Great Gardener. But thank God I had friends in my life at that time that were able to do that and help us with the case. So big shout out to the House of the Great Gardener on that one. So here it is. If they come to your door, the laws haven't changed. If they come with police, they're not allowed to come in. It's not a warrant. They're not allowed to come in and start looking through your cupboards, looking in your closets, looking under your bed, and trying to say they're trying to make sure the place is safe. If that's the case, go get a warrant and secure the place and get safety. No judge will give them a warrant knowing that there's a CSU unit that can come and do it. Now, unless you're rude, obnoxious, or in some way counterintuitive to the CSU unit, well, then you're in trouble. And I wanted to talk about that because that leads into this commercial. And when I get back, we're going to be talking about genetics and breeding and doing a giveaway. But I wanted to get into that. I think I'll do a giveaway anyway. I got like 4 to mail out tomorrow. It's crazy. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh, that's an old video. That's why. Okay. So I want that off. Yeah. Most important thing about dealing with these guys is when they come to your door is, 1, make sure that the camera person you have is steady, and 2, make sure you have your hands on your doorway and do not let them through what's known as the threshold of the doorway. Those of you with gun licenses out there, you all understand the threshold of the doorway. That's what somebody's not allowed to breach. If somebody breaches through that front door, you have the right to actually shoot them, you know, for coming in your house. People don't think we have these laws in Canada. I highly suggest you look up what the laws are. I highly suggest everybody look up what the laws are around having, or how many people actually have firearms in Canada. A lot of people underestimate all that. And the only reason I bring that up is just because when these guys come knocking on your door, they come knocking with intent. That's why I don't like that the police come. In Alberta and other provinces, you don't have the same protection as BC because it didn't go federal. It only went to the provincial court. So what's good in one court is good for all courts. So it's going to be a good defense for you, you know, if you can film them forcing themselves to come into your house with a no-knock warrant. You know, without a no-knock warrant. If they force themselves in without a warrant, it's the same as forcing yourself in with a no-knock warrant. Now, manipulating yourself to get in and taking advantage of a sick patient that may not know their constitutional right to not have you come in the house, because you're an officer, at least in the province of British Columbia. Again, I believe we should move this and so it's make it so it's Canada-wide. It shouldn't just be in BC. But have a watch over this, and we'll get back to the show, and we'll do the giveaway and talk a little bit about breeding. Cheers.
One, two, three, four. Come on, don't give it up for a second. I don't think that's necessary. And you got the top one up top, and the second one here and here.
Yeah, on the phone. There's 4 of them. Yeah,
just let me talk to
yeah,
him here.
there's 5 of them.
I gotta find out who their supervisor is. You guys got a supervisor that wants to do the talking?
Wilcox. Mr. Wilcox. These gentlemen coming up here are the inspection team,
Yes.
and they would like to do the inspection, but before they do that, they ask us to come in and make sure everything is safe for them. There's nobody hiding in closets or anything like that.
Exactly, and I believe that this case has been settled in Ontario, that
Yeah.
the police can no longer come in
Yeah.
for home inspections.
No.
Oh, we can to come in and assist them if you allow us to.
I'm not allowed. That's what
No
I'm saying.
problem,
When
that's
it comes to allowing
Medical.
permission,
Come and talk to these gentlemen.
I mean, I don't have a problem standing here with you, or if you guys want to stand even right here. I mean, at the doorway. I mean, I've contacted legal counsel. That's
Yes,
why.
we have.
It's nothing against you guys personally. Legal counsel said if they show up there with 3 cop cars, then no, you don't have to let them through your door.
Oh, we'll
So we
give
can phone Health Canada too.
We'll
Yeah, I
give
know.
it to you. Anyway,
not-
Dwayne, do you want to explain what your
So
role was?
yesterday you were okay with 2 officers coming in the house.
One.
No, I listened to 2, but I see 6,
No,
and
there's
it
more.
was
It's only 4 of us.
4, but
The
I
rest-
see.
the
Sorry, I'm looking at 3 cop cars as well. What bothered me is the gentleman I spoke to. I think was it you that was standing there yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, it was
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I did say, I'm feeling bad because I don't want to seem like the bad guy here, but at the same time, you guys are showing up in force. My neighbors right now, God knows what they think, and I have nothing to hide. When all's said and done, I'm hoping that we can all get along. But this has been how many times have you guys been to my house and in my basement?
Well, this is the first time on the public.
And what
safety
is your
team.
reason for needing to come in the house for safety, aside from needing to
Just
protect them?
making sure everything is to code.
You're police officers.
No,
Yeah.
no, this is
He's not.
by law enforcement.
Okay, so you're coming in to do that. I'm saying, why do you need
If they're
him?
part of our team, they come for our safety.
We only come in for their safety.
No-
So
Nothing
again,
saying-
against my request to not have them come in for your safety, you're going to go ahead and tell me that I have to allow these officers into my house without a warrant? Because it amounts to a
I'm
warrantless
not
search.
I'm not going to tell you anything.
I mean, it amounts to a
No, I'm-
warrantless search. That's what it does. And
Yes.
you're asking me to let officers into the house that are then going to want to do a plant count and everything else
Yeah.
for no reason.
No.
Unless we can agree that there's going to be some sort of, not 6 or 7 of these coming in, but rather that your team.
This is the process. One of us would stay out here with you and
That's
all the
fine.
other occupants. 3 of us would go through the house, make
Oh.
sure there's nobody hiding or any weapons.
Yeah,
any
no.
weapons.
No.
You
And
don't
then-
search for
well,
weapons. You
let
guys
me-
can get a warrant if you want to search
Yes,
for
get a
weapons.
warrant.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
No, you
We
won't be
would-
searching my house.
No.
Okay, let me finish explaining the process. 3 of us go through, we make sure that there's nobody hiding in here. We come out, then the inspection team goes in while we stay outside.
There ain't nobody hiding in here, and there ain't
No.
nothing for you to really have any probable cause to believe
Yes.
I didn't
Warrant.
say we did.
that. Well,
We're
then
coming
you're
here
done.
to assist them, and they want us
And
to
I'm
do it.
saying
So-
that my understanding
That's
is
fine.
that there's a legal case that you guys are
That's
not
fine.
allowed in. So I'm saying that
No.
if they would like to come in and if they would like to go down and do their jobs, they're welcome
with
to.
them.
I'll stand at
Yeah.
the door with you, so you know you're safe and that they're safe because I'm with you.
Well, we don't know that
And we
because
don't
we
have
don't
to
know if there's
worry.
anybody else in
Yeah,
the house.
bring me
That's what
down.
that's why they ask us
Has
to
there
come.
been any threat to you guys? And you guys have been to my house 5 times.
Yeah.
And there's
Never
never
been
been a threat to your officers.
No.
Okay,
So-
Jason,
The call's yours.
what we'll do is we'll just get an entry warrant.
That's
Okay, I mean, it could just be so much easier just to let things roll. So we're not here to stop you from what you want to do, just to make sure the electrical and everything's to code.
I just don't understand why all the officers, guys.
This is part of our team, Jason. Okay, it's nothing to do with you. This is
Okay,
a
am I
fourth-
going
We
to get
go
this
to
every year,
places-
guys? Well, I mean, I don't want to. Once this is done, am I going to get this crap every year?
yeah.
Probably not, but this is the first time our section's been involved. We
Oh,
may have had
there
these
we go.
issues, but it's never been the public safety team. Okay.
Public safety team.
Yeah.
Warrant.
Okay, so
Different cities called the electrical safety.
the searching
team.
for my house.
We're not
You're
doing
telling me you're gonna
searching.
get. No, you just told me you want to
Yeah.
search for people in my home.
Yes.
And
Well,
that's my
Jason-
problem that I have. I don't want you
Jason,
going through my
we're
closets.
really okay. We'll just get the entry warrant. We'll do things the proper way. That's the way you prefer.
No, I'm asking you why it is that your team can't just go in. Why you need to get a warrant?
It's city policy. We don't need to get a warrant. You're not allowing us to follow
Because
city
he wants
policy.
to search. He wants to search my house. That's what he just said to me.
It's been
Yesterday I
recorded.
told you I'd take 2 officers and walk down there, but he's saying he wants to search every house in my room. It's like, to get downstairs, we walk straight down. What the hell is the side bedrooms or anything
Yeah,
else have
what's
to
that
do with
got
anything?
The police have ways they follow. They do things too. So it's obviously you can't accept the way we want to do things. We'll just.
Well, we
do
got it
what
all
you
on
want.
camera, so come on in. Let's go. Bring your guys in. Let's film you guys doing what you're doing, and we'll just see what my lawyers have to say after that, and it'll be a lot easier.
Well, we come in, but you guys stay outside.
No.
No, you guys aren't gonna search my
No
house.
fucking way.
That's how we do it. If you don't want that, that's fine.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for your time, Jason.
Thank you. I'll show that to my lawyer. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I'm recording.
Damn, that'll get you pumped up. Still working on that documentary. Trust me, it will get done eventually. I'm in no hurry to get the to get out what everybody already knows. So I'm not trying to be selfish when I say that. It's just a lot of work putting that stuff together. But we will be doing it. How the hell did I get on that cam? That's interesting. Battery dying? No. Battery's out. Alright, there we go. That's a little better anyway. For some reason I went to my B cam, which is my safety cam. Everything else fails. And I can't really explain anything else. Let's try changing it up a bit. Put that up there. Now go back there. Alright, so now we're set. We do have, again, I want to get the show done in an hour today, so get it done and finished. What's brutal, man? Trust me, that whole ordeal led me to be strong enough to do the Cannabis Rights Coalition of Canada, which is what that little short 1-minute clip was all about. $1.2 million trial. We took it to the government. When they said they were going to take all our gardens, I had enough. I had already sued them once. I stopped the Green Team the second time with Kurt Tusaw. I sued them the first time with John Conroy. And the city of Abbotsford still didn't take us serious. So what do they come in with? The nuclear solution. We're going to take all your olive gardens. Ain't nobody going to grow in Canada. Nobody. That's what started the coalition, started the fury, started the rage. And believe me, many of us shared that rage. And the impact statements showed that rage. You know how many patients? 50% of the impact statements, there was 3,000 impact statements entered. What an impact statement is when somebody takes the time to write out what happened to them and how this case affects them, and they send it to us. We turn it into an impact statement, into a PDF form that is then submitted by the lawyer to the judge. The judge reads all 3,000 no matter what. They may not weigh much weight in evidence because nobody's been cross-examined or nothing. But the judge still, it's past his eyes, 3,000 of these people. And 50% of them, 50%, they weren't worried about losing their gardens. They were worried about being forced back on the pharmaceuticals that they didn't want to take. Everybody else that gets to grow right now in Canada under legalization should be goddamn well thankful to those medical patients who stood up and fought for them, because they fought for liberty. You see, they made it about all the medical patients, with the knowledge that Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, at its fundamental core, is liberty. And that's what we won, was the liberty of 42,000 medical patients. Well, I'd say, sorry, 36,000. Because only 36,000 of them were growers. The rest of them chose to be possession holders. But that being said, those 36,000, their liberties were upheld. And as a result, it forced the legalization task force to say, okay, we're going to allow 4 plants. So now we're in the position where everybody's got 4 plants. I got my 4 plants going, and if you don't have your 4 plants going, then you should look around the room and give yourself a slap in the face and ask yourself why. Especially if you smoke weed. I get it if you don't smoke weed. I get it if you can't get the insurance. This is a new thing that I'm still studying, I'm still learning, I don't want to weigh in on. But when we get into seeds and stuff, and we start talking about seeds, like yesterday I've done these, I was showing you guys these. I'm not going to bring them up and get pictures for them really close. I probably should have taken pictures before the show, but you know what, I was out all day with the dog. These are seeds that are not feminized, and what I mean by that is they won't all come up female. You'll actually get male and female stock. And when you got stable genetics, every one of these genetics can be looked up on the internet and be found on separate pages with their lineage and properly bred. And when you're a good breeder and you're doing what you're supposed to do, which is figure out the lineage of the plant you're using for plant A, which is your mom, and plant B, which is your dad, before you put them all together, before you allow the male to do his thing, and before you cut 50 or 60 females off that one female you want to be mom. You want all the exact same genetics. So that one female mom, you grow her big. And then you cut her down into a bunch of little clones, and you make thousands of little clones, 50, 60, whatever you can do, clones. And then you just let them, again, you let them veg up to the size that you want, and you're only looking for seeds. You're farming seeds at that point. And believe me, there are lots of seeds that can be made, so you don't need really big plants to do a good little breeding project. And then you may have to back cross it. That's why it's not good to do large breeding projects. It's better to do 10 or 15, 20 small plants, on one strain to make sure that that strain's stable. Because when you harvest that strain, it may come up 7 males to 3 females on 3 separate tests. C1, C2, C3, you do all 3 tests to see. And if it's either an F1 generation, if you have to hit it again, it's an F2. If you have to hit it again, it's F3. However many generations, there's F16s out there that have been hit 16 times with the exact same pollen to stabilize that particular set of genetics. Now that's some geeky fucking breeder science, but it is what it is. That's what cannabis is. People can sit there and talk about cannabis and say they know it. They don't know cannabis, so they know cannabinoids and the fundamental base of the plant and how it operates, how the root distributes to the fruit. Everybody worries about what the top looks like when they should be worrying about what's going on in the base. The roots actually determine the fruit. But we're at a time now where people are starting to learn, like for instance, these F7s, you'll see they have a big FEM underneath, meaning that they're feminized. These are designed for outdoor. So outdoor growers, every year you go out and you know that you're able to put these seeds down and there ain't going to be no males coming up. That's the purpose in feminizing seeds. And the other purpose in doing it is to protect your genetics so that other people don't really breed them out. Once you hit them with whatever it is, I can't remember what it's called. I used to have it on top of my tongue, but I don't right now. It's an actual chemical spray that you spray on your seeds that actually makes them all female. And once you do that, though, you can't really breed with them anymore. You ruin the stock. So it's important to understand basic breeding. Now, if you were to get 2 of these strains, win 1 of each strain in a pack, and then decided you were going to grow all 20 at once, and take your strongest female and your strongest male, set them aside, keep them vegetatively growing while you flower these out and figure out if you like them. And you may decide you don't like the female or you don't like the male. That's my suggestion. And from there, you can take those two, that female and that male, and you can put them in their own little tent or their own little area, preferably a tent, because it's controlled. It's a controlled environment. It's very important, especially when dealing with pollen. You don't want pollen going all through your grow location. So when it gets to that stage, you now got a male and a female, which is a plank, a base. It's so hard to get a good base. If you got an NL7 or an NL5 out there, please email me. I will pay you a lot of money for that particular strain, because it's very hard to get the real NL5 and NL. And believe me, I'll want you to explain the lineage to me. I'll want to know a lot before I buy it, because it's very hard to find now. But that is the base. You can find Northern Lights in every single strain that almost exists today, if you did the lineage, if you did the tracking back to all the original, all the OG strains, the skunks, you know, the Northern Lights. I mean, again, Northern Lights was fundamentally part of even making skunks. You know, this is stuff that a lot of people don't remember with the early breeding days. But this is when there wasn't hundreds of thousands of strains, because numbnuts went and pollinated his room, or another numbnuts went and hermied his room. And then they tried to sell the seeds as if they were legitimate seeds, but they were hermy seeds, forcing more problems. So now we got a whole bunch of people out there saying, well, why is there all these hybrids and what do they all mean? And growers like myself and breeders, we can't really explain it other than saying numb nuts and numb tits. What else can I say? You know, you did it wrong. And it really hurts the cannabis culture. It really hurts our ability to properly grow when that happens. So what I suggest is, again, get a breeding book. Read a book, read up on breeding. You know, it's just taking your game to another level. It's where you breed your own strain. And when you breed your own strain, it's almost as good. I'd say it's even better than what it is to just pop your first strain, to actually grow your first strain. And you're like, oh my God, I did it. This is awesome. I grew this myself. It's a really rewarding feeling. And I think the same thing happens when you breed your own strain, only to a higher extent, because it's really advanced. And if you do it right, and you get stable genetics that are sellable, well, then you start talking to the seed companies, you know, and you might want to look at breeding, because honestly, you don't need large chambers to make lots of seeds. It's just the truth. You just have to know what you're doing with the pollen, and you have to be careful with what you're doing. But, well, let's get into the questions, if there are any questions. Do we have any questions at all? From my friend in Thailand. Awesome. That's cool if you're in Thailand. Send me some of those Asian strains, man. You guys got the fucking best sativas and shit over there. You know, you guys got the originals. All you gotta do is climb up in the hills and get them. You guys got the originals, just like here in BC. You gotta climb up in the hills to get, you know, different strains of ruderalis and shit, but we don't have the good stuff. You guys got some good stuff in Thailand. I know that. Especially Thai sticks and shit. Best way to start growing your own strain. We did cover this on Cannabis Day, but honestly, that's a good question. I'm going to see if the audience can answer that before I answer it for you. Because there's a very specific procedure to follow when you germinate a seed. And we'll talk about, we'll say in this theory for, I don't know what that name is, Toyu. Looks like a fast-made user account. But anyway, seeds. You take a seed, what do you do when you get 10 seeds? I'll tell you what I think about it later. I'm going to worry about what this one says here. It's the best way for growing your own strain. What's the best way for growing your own strain? Well, I just told you. You need to, I'm not going to repeat myself. You need to hit rewind and listen to what I just said, because that's how you go about starting to breed your own strain. Is you first need to grow your own strain. You first need to grow 2 strains, and then you need to collect a male and make sure you got a male and a female from 2 different strains. Then when you farm them, it's like taking a male and a female human and putting them in the bedroom for a little while and telling them to do their thing, and you might get a baby. Well, in this case, you will get a baby, because it's guaranteed if you pollinate that plant, you're going to get seeds. That's the only difference between human human genetics and plant genetics, to be honest, on that note. Silk anhydrous, there it is. That's the answer I was looking for. Again, 10% hydrogen peroxide. You soak them for 24 hours and you will then plant them, you know, and you're done. There is no need for a paper towel method. There's no need for extra exposure. You do it in the dark and you do it at room temperature. The ambient temperature of 25. When I say room temperature, most people in their houses have a room of 25 degrees Celsius. That's ambient, just general room temperature. And that's the best temperature to stick it in a cupboard. It's important to keep them in the dark, you know, when they're soaking, because light gets to the seed. And remember, if that radical opens for any reason, the radical comes out of the husk early, and you see that, that's your taproot. Now, it won't drown, because it'll take a little while for it to drown. It's very hard to drown a seed. So it's not going to drown on you. But if that radical pops out and it gets exposed to light, you could stress your genetics right out of the hop. As soon as that seed cracks, boom, you stress them. I talked about this just on Wednesday, but that is the proper procedure. And thank you, Sav, and thank you for others for stepping in there. And Joanne, I believe you put in there. Yeah, you pop it in the soil and then you just cover it. You can also use the germination methodology, which is something that I've taught. And again, it's about even water distribution getting into the husk so that the radical, when it does come out, is coming out optimized and goes straight down, wants to go down, and you get a good, strong rooting system. But again, it's all about how you do it. But growing plant A, and then growing plant B, which I'm going to be giving away on tonight's giveaway. Growing plant A and growing plant B is all you have to do. This is for Canadian civilians only. This can't be shipped overseas. So again, you got 10 here. I'm going to do West Coast Sour Diesel and Original Fruity Pebbles are the two I'm going to do. I would do the M7 seeds, but unless you're growing outdoors and you need a lot of them, then it's better that you get a hold of me in private. Because they're not really they're not much good for indoor when they're designed for outdoor. They'll still grow. They won't be any different, but they will be irritating. So anyway, West Coast Diesel and the Original Fruity Pebbles. So if I took these two, and now let's just say I've grew them both, and I said, okay, West Coast Diesel I want as my mom, and for whatever reason, Fruity Pebbles I want as my dad. You can either grow these to fruition, grow them to the full end, you know, grow them till they're done, you know, and then test them and decide whether you even want to breed these. Or look at their lineage and make sure that you're not cross-referencing anything and see if these are the two you want to breed. If they are, then while they're young, when they're about 30, 35 days old, and you're able to pick off their sex, take the strongest male, take the strongest female, and set them aside. So you got these, you set them aside. You now got two plants. Once you got two plants, okay, you're going to grow those plants. You're going to allow them to get up. Now the male, you just want to take care of. The male, no matter what, is going to give you a hard time. It's going to look scraggly. It's going to look like shit. Don't worry about it. Only worry about if it has balls. And that's where we'll get into the autoflowers. We'll do that in a second. I don't want to get into the autoflowers right now. Because it'll throw me off, as I've already done. But A and B, you got your two plants. Okay, you get those put up there. Now, again, I can demonstrate this stuff as I've done before, but I've done this on live shows. It's a lot to do around 3 different computers and a couple monitors. It's a lot to do with certain plants. I think when the plants get a little bigger, it'll be easier to do the show. I'm still figuring that out, but I am working on it. Keeping in mind, once you got plant A and plant B, think of it as you got mom and you got dad, and you're going to cross them. Now the question is how to optimally cross them and get the most seeds. Well, I can guarantee you this one male can produce enough pollen to do like 30, 40 plants. You don't have to worry about that. So the best thing to do is to take the mother, only one mother, not multiple mothers, because you get sisters. They're just a little bit different in genetics. You want one mother. Take a bunch of clones of that mother because it'll be the same genotype. The genotype doesn't change if you take a clone. The genotype changes when you make seeds. Just keep that in mind. You got reading the botany to get into this shit. Anyway, you take these two plants, and now you got your male, and your male is going to grow taller than your female anyway, which is what you want. You want a nice, tall, vigorous male. If you got to stake that fucker up there because it wants to act out on you, stake it up. It's not a good sign if you have to stake it up because it shows weak genetics. But that being said, stake the male up if you have to. But the female, make a bunch of cuttings and make them all short. Run them along. You know, you only need about 6 little plants, and go ahead and let that fucking male do his thing, and you'll have yourself a couple thousand seeds. And with a couple thousand seeds, you can then do testing to see what is your stability rating. So you plant 10 of them, or you plant 100 of them. And if 50 come up male and 50 come up female, you throw them all out, and you know you got stable genetics. Or you grow them, and you decide on if you like them. You may not have even grown your genetics yet, but you've already bred them. Usually people breed them first and then try them later, because you just don't know until you cross the genetics. It's like human beings, you just don't know until two have a baby. And that baby is what it is. It's unique, it's identity, it's got its own genotype, and it's got its own set of DNA and set of genetics. And so does cannabis, every cannabis plant that I look at. No two plants are alike unless they've been cloned. If they've been cloned, the genotype don't change. It's that simple. Now, autoflowers, this is where it gets dangerous, because autoflowers is something, one, you have to be looking for CBD if you want to get into autoflowers, in my own opinion. It must be for the purpose of wanting CBD. CBD is found to be higher. Shit, I went 7 minutes over. See? CBD is meant to or is actually higher in ruderalis. So if you look up the history of ruderalis and why ruderalis was ditchweed, you know, back at Woodstock and shit, they'd drive along the side of the road, they'd see it, they'd be like, hey man, that's weed. And then somebody would be like, no man, that's ruderalis. Well, let's go try it. Well, they get out there and they go smoke the shit. Oh dude, I got a headache. Me too. Oh, let's go. And they leave that weed. So it's a name known as headache weed. It was never known because it was more hemp than it was cannabis. So it had it had THC, but it had too much CBD. So then people started fucking around with breeding ruderalis with other plants to get higher CBD. Once we learned CBD stops seizures and stops shaking and stuff in people with Parkinson's disease. Once we learned these things, then it changed the reasoning for why we did everything. You know, so it was a very good question about the autoflower, but I'm telling you now, the way that I just explained how to do it with stable genetics, if you take stable genetics for a breeding project, you wouldn't want to take an autoflower anyway for a breeding project unless you're looking to get CBD, as I said. So if you're looking to make a CBD, like I bred one for my ex. I bred a strong CBD strain. It only grows this tall, you know, because it has more ruderalis in it than anything. I knew which side to put on, so it worked out perfectly. And I haven't had it tested yet to know how much CBD is in there, but it's a nice high CBD, but it grows nice and short, so it's great for outdoors. Now all I have to do is feminize the seeds, and away we go. Just never got to that point. That being said, that's an example of learning how to breed with autoflowers. You have to respect autoflowers because they get triggered based on either light and or what's in their genetics. So if you trigger 12 and 12, you're going to trigger them into flower, you know, like just like you would any other plant. However, you could have it on 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You could have that light on, and that plant will still flower or still grow basically a nutsack and flower your plants. And that's extremely dangerous because any of the pistili, and there's always early pistili, you know this, if you look at your females, you can see all the little white hairs. Well, pollen gets on those little white hairs, what do you think you have? A baby. That baby is a seed. So though you may not be in flower, trust me, your females are always ready to take pollen. It's funny that way. But there's a little bit of a lesson. Let me just see what thing are. We're going to go on with a giveaway. I wanted to get a giveaway done tonight. The giveaway, like I said, is going to be, at least I think I said, is going to be for 10, I think it's either 10 or 13 Medman puts in here. I have to ask Thaddeus exactly what he puts in it. I have to call him actually. Thaddeus, if you're listening, we need to talk. Give me a shout. Anyway, Original Fruity Pebbles, OG, collective passive income as official brand partner. So it's MedMen and Brandco. Yeah, I don't like the see-through bags. So normally he would not do that. He knows better. See, normally seeds would be like this. You should never allow lights to even hit your seeds. It degrades your seeds. Light's bad for cannabis, period, except for when you're growing it. But for storing your seeds and stuff, you generally want to store them in the dark. It's like this here. It has a moisture, one of those Bovita packs in it, which you can't really see right now. There, sort of like a little moisture pack in there. Keeps it from getting too moist, keeps it from getting too dry, and that's again keeping your seeds just optimized, and you want to keep them in the dark. I don't normally have them out like this. All right, let's get on to the giveaway. I know I'm talking too much. I gotta fucking eat pizza. Time to order pizza. Original Fruity Pebbles, OG, and original, well, that's the original Headbanger. Here's the original. Actually, we'll do the original Headbanger again. I don't like giving these away because I want to kind of keep them for myself, but at the same time, I've already picked out what I'm gonna be playing with here for these. So I'm gonna put one of each of these together, mainly because tonight's topic was breeding. I have one over my mark, but that's okay. I'm gonna get this out of the way, and you guys can get on with your fine evenings, and I can get on with smoking my weed. I can't even get my weed cut. I got jars of weed, I got bags of weed, but I can't even get weed cut for my show. That's how it goes. So let's put this over here, and I almost feel like asking a trick question, but we'll stick to what's been working. This number count has been working the best. Breeding. I have one over nobody put up any numbers, please. Okay. Nobody put up any numbers. If you do, and you guys can get on with your fine evenings, and I can get on with smoking my weed. I was going to show you guys when I click generate. I got jars of weed. That's between 1 and 10. But I can't even get weed. We're going to do between 1 and 1,000. So between 1 and 1,000. So let's put this over here and. So what I'm going to do is get prepared here. Feel free now to start putting in any number between 1 and 1,000. Nobody put up any numbers, please. Nobody put up any numbers. If you do, and you guys can get on your fine evenings. Between 1 and 1,000. I'm just going to show you guys when I click generate. So you guys should be able to see that. So between 1 and 1,000. So between 1 and 1,000. Feel free to start putting in your numbers and whatever your guess is. So what I'm going to do is get here. Feel free now to start Canadian residents number between 1 and 1,000. Nobody put up any numbers, please. Can't understand me. You guys can't understand. Between 1 and 1,000. I'm just going to show you guys when I click generate. So you guys should be able to see that. So between 1 and 1,000. So between 1 and 1,000. Feel free to start putting in your numbers and whatever your guess is. So what I'm going to do is get here. Feel free now to start Canadian residents number between 1 and 1,000. Nobody put up any numbers, please. Can't understand me. Between 1 and 1,000. I was going to show you guys when I click generate. You guys should be able to see that. So between 1 and 1,000. So between 1 and 1,000. Feel free to start putting in your numbers and whatever your guess is. So what I'm going to do is get here. Feel free now to start Canadian residents number between 1 and 1,000. Nobody put up any numbers, please. Can't understand me. Between 1 and 1,000. I was going to show you guys when I click generate. You should be able to see that. So between 1 and 1,000. So between 1 and 1,000. Feel free to start putting in your numbers. This is one thing that I can't figure out. There's something looping in my background and I cannot figure it out. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Oh shit. Oh good, I didn't generate that number yet. Alright, let's get that thing. What are we fucking looping? Left and right. Makes no sense. I'm gonna try and do this giveaway here as best I can anyway. I'm not sure how I'm sounding coming through, if at all. Sounds like no sounds coming through at all. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go over to this I'm going to try and do this giveaway here as best I can anyway. I'm not sure. Alright, I think the audio is back, if at all. Back to normal. I can't explain that at all. I don't know what was looping in the background, but it appears to have stopped. I'm hoping. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go to... Yeah. Alright, we're all good? Okay, you guys already gave your numbers, and I've got them written down here, and I can always scroll back in front of you. So let me just pull up the number generator that YouTube or Google has. And congratulations in advance, as always, to everybody. You've already given your numbers, and if there's any last minute numbers to put in that have not entered a number, you can always add that now. But here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on. I said that doesn't count. I said between 1 and 1,000, right? So you guys are probably like, that guy's fucking way too stoned. It's like, yeah, I am. But it's hard to deal with this shit on the fly too sometimes. It is what it is. Alright, so 1,000. Let's get back over to this friggin' multi-monitors, man. 301. 301 is the winner. I got a 331. I got a 357. I don't know which ones. I guess 331 would be closest. Do we even have any high 200s? No high 200s. 331. Who's 331? 331 would be the winner. The number was 301. 331 would be the winner. Oh shit. Did I generate that in front, not in front of you guys? That doesn't count. Okay, redo it. That doesn't count. No, I generated that in front of you, did I? No, I didn't. All right, you ready? Here we go. It's going to get generated in front of you. 558. 558 will be the winner. I apologize again. 558 301. I don't see, I'm trying to see who's the closest. I got 530. I don't see a 558 or anything closer to 530. Anybody dispute that in the chat? 307 is closer. Was I, okay, I need some help here. Screw this last one. This is getting really fucked up now. So, I had all the numbers written down, right? I didn't have no 307, so I'm going to scroll back, and I hope to find a fucking 307. There's too many people saying, Justin, can you confirm for me if that's 307 existed up there before I actually went into the competition? I see 331. I don't see a 307. Yes, I do now. Duane Hoffett, 307. 307 is good, and 307 confirms the winner. 307, I apologize for all the confusion. This has been a long night. I went over my time by 27 minutes to explain breeding a little more advanced than I wanted to do. I haven't been able to even smoke my joint yet, but I love you guys and I love doing this show, and that's why I do it. And we're going to start growing it back out now. Moreover, this season in the fall. During the summer, a lot of the time people want to get out. Unfortunately, due to COVID, a lot of us are getting stuck inside or less places to go to anyway, without having Popo or somebody bothering us. Okay, thanks, Sab. I just wanted to make sure people, had this right. Is there any dispute in the chat? If there's any dispute in the chat, please let me know. I don't think there should be any dispute. I think that was a 100% win, and the only screw up is me going and doing additional numbers. So get this here off. All right, everybody, there we go. So again, I'm hoping that everybody has a wonderful night. Please send whoever that winner was there. I can't remember the name. Dwayne, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Dwayne Hoffert or Hoffett. Can you please send me an email to cannabisincanada@gmail.com, just confirming that you are a winner on tonight's show. That way, we've had a few nights where people have won and then not claimed their prize, and I felt it was unfortunate for the audience to not have that prize reconstituted back in. So, well, I got a lot of emails to get back to. Okay. Anyway, feel free to send it through anytime, and we can confirm you as a winner, and we can confirm the night. Be gone. And hopefully you guys are staying late. Are there any questions at all out there? I've been off the air for 4 months working on me and working on some other stuff. So do you guys have any questions on what you want to see, on what you want to see on future videos? We're going to be filming at some large locations, and we're going to be filming at some small locations. So it'll be an interesting season. Really, starting from September onward, it'll start to get interesting. I'm still waiting to see what happens here with America, because the shit that's going on over there is starting to trip out even those that don't want to lend down the conspiracy trail. It's hard not to when you see all this going on and around the world, and it's kind of scary because they're bringing military generals and militaries and stuff into it, so it's kind of not cool. We're right at the 1:30 mark. So anyway, I wish everybody a wonderful night. I gotta wait and get this email. Please send the email as soon as possible so I can get off the air. I really do appreciate it, and I can get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. CBD Pharma Podcast. Interesting. One thing I like about CBD is it's just one of the cannabinoids, that exists inside the plant. And with so many cannabinoids yet to be explored, it makes you wonder, what are they going to find out? That another cannabinoid stops Parkinson's altogether? Maybe it isn't just CBD that stops seizures. Maybe there's other parts of the plant that do as well. I still haven't gotten an email that's come through. I will constitute your prize. Don't hesitate on that one. I'll reconstitute it back out into another generation. So don't quite go off the air yet, guys, if you're hanging out for seeds, because I still haven't gotten an email. These things do take time, though, to come through the internet, as I learned on Cannabis Day. Dwayne, you need to send the email right away so that we know that you've confirmed your winning to cannabisincanada@gmail.com. He's sending it now. Thanks, Justin. All right, guys. Yeah, it's been a good show. Again, we're slowly coming back, but what I need to know is get some general ideas on what you guys want. I've done 800 videos on YouTube. After doing 800 videos and teaching everything from low stress training, high stress training, how to combine the two and make bonsai plants, how to grow trees that are 8 feet tall and grow lateral buds the size of my head, and really and terminal buzz the size of my head. You know, I mean, honestly, this is like, what else can we bring to this channel that's going to be educational for you? And whether you're the beginner grower or the advanced grower, I think that if we share our information with each other, that would be a big help. And I don't want to be staying on here talking too much longer, but it is what it is. This shows my dedication to the channel and to the viewers. You know, if you guys win on my show, I want to make sure you get your prizes. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit and wait a half hour for you to write an email to me. You just got to punch it through. Sometimes it can get a little tricky and lost in cyberspace for a little while, but it shouldn't. I pay way too much for a faster connection to have to deal with that. And Justin, I'll be hoping to come down and see you soon, brother. I think I'm going to take a drive over the mountains and take a little bit of a holiday here. We just finished up some stuff at the shop, so I'm kind of open to go. I just haven't decided who to ride with yet. But it'd be good to come down and see you. Okay, there's been no email that's come in. I'm just going to quickly check my junk box. I'm going to reconstitute this present or this prize. Nothing in the junk mail. I'm going to recycle my email one more time. And there's nothing here that that's new. So again, I apologize to that particular viewer. Justin, if you can let that viewer know that we really apologize, but he needs to get his emails in when we do the show. That's part of the way we play the game, and it doesn't change today nor any day. That's just the way things go. I know it might upset some people, but it gives other people a chance to win. He said it won't send for some reason. cannabisincanada@gmail.com. But anyway, I'm going to throw this back on quickly. Go and rewrite your numbers if you're still interested in winning some seeds. I'm sure we're getting down on numbers of people that are able to win. So let's throw this over here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Go ahead and start. Go ahead and start putting your numbers in if you wish to win seeds. That was a waste. My fucking rating. I want to eat my pizza, god damn it. Sorry, but the rules are the rules, guys. You can either send the email or you can't. It's not my fault. I can't stop people from how they can win. Next time, show you what. 649, 640, okay. 649, 44. Max. Max. Good boy. Come here, boy. Make sure you're all right. I'm going to say this in advance. If for any reason God Z Twisted Sister wins, it's not because he's my friend. It's because he honestly won. You can't beat a number generator, just so everybody knows. So I'm going to throw that out there now, just so people know. Because what always happens to me is people end up winning that, I know, and it looks like it's prefabricated. So I'm going to generate 2 numbers. First one, please do not count. Actually, I'm going to generate only 1 number. I'll keep this fucking simple. I got to get to eating my pizza. Okay, are you guys ready for... Okay, are we set to go? We got 8:23:06. Last chance. 3, 2, 1. Get your numbers in. I'm going to give it a little bit of a delay here. And if there's no, if there's nobody on there, then, or if there's no additional numbers, then we'll go ahead and move forward. Much higher chance of winning now because a lot of people dropped off, rightfully so. I apologize to the viewers, but yeah, hell, I'm half hour over my show time anyway. I did not want to go this long. So I'm going to throw this back on. Let's generate. Let's get to work. All right, so the winner is 363. 363. 440. No. 363. 346. I see 306. 346 would be closer. 450. 363. Who's the closest? Is anybody good with math there? Three, 4, 6. I think 3, 4, 6 is the winner. Is there consensus, guys? 3, 4, 6. Thank you. Okay, 3, 4, 6. Congratulations. Please send your email to me. You don't even have to give an address right now. Sometimes people can't give addresses right away, and I understand that. But please send that over as soon as possible, and not even as soon as possible while I'm on the air here, so we can confirm you're winning and get on with the night. I don't think there's that many people that want to win and then throw away their prize. Makes no sense in competing. Sometimes technology can really fuck with us, so I deal with that on a regular basis with the show. Okay. Garage 346. Okay, so we have a winner. Please send the email through to cannabisincanada@gmail.com. Even if you don't have an address right now to mail to, you can send that in. I prefer it if you had an address that you can put down there right away. But if you don't have an address, that's okay too. We can get an email or an address from you later. Sometimes it takes people, they don't want to have seeds, for instance, mailed to their house. Even though we're legal in Canada, people are still stuck in the reefer madness days, so they get worried. I get it. You know, I understand it. Well, thanks for putting that up, Sav. I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, that's what I should be doing, putting that up, making it easier. Shit. Show started 99 minutes ago. 99 bitches, but a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. That was the song. This new computer's got to stop recording me. I don't like how it friggin' pops my friggin' shit up. At least you guys can see it on YouTube. I don't think. So where is this email? We can't have 2 people go down without an email. I might just friggin' redo this friggin' whole email, this whole thing. Who's our winner? Is our winner in the chat? Three, 4, 6. 3, 4, 6 was Gary Larder. Well, Gary, you're always on my show. I want to smoke a bowl for the win. Gary, you won. Stoner. You're the one that won, man. You didn't even send me an email and tell me that you won. Yeah, sometimes I forget that. You know, that's fair, man. Honestly, I forget that I'm working with higher end equipment and faster internet. So I end up with people that have older computers that are a little bit slower, and I apologize for that. I just need to know that you're actually sending the email through so I can quantify that. But that's okay. Handle your business. At least I think it was him that won. Yeah? I did not screw that up. 363. Oh no, 306 didn't win. Was 306 Gary? No, the actual winner was 346. 346 was Garnis Lam. I can't pronounce the back. Are you still in the chat? Yes or no? So that we can get this out to you. Man, I'm making this shit confusing tonight. This is our winner right here. Yeah. Now, sorry, I thought it was you, buddy. I wish it was you. I like how our regular viewers have a chance to win. But that being said, is our winner still? Yes, you are. Can you please send an email to cannabisincanada@gmail.com? Somebody's posted up the link there. You just click on that, and you can send me an email and confirm that you've confirm you're winning. Oh, you already beat me to it. You already did it. Done. Done and done. All right, everybody. I'm hoping that you guys have a wonderful Sunday night. All the winners from this week, from Cannabis Day and from tonight's Sunday show, all winners and packages will be sent out tomorrow. And congratulations on the show. We'll talk about them next week. If you need any personal information and you're one of the winners from our show, please contact me through either email or whatever. My phone number is in my email, as you can see. You can just call me or text me. Not a big deal. If I can help out, I'll help out. But aside from that, I'm wishing everybody really a blessed up night. Stay lit, stay positive, and remember, life always goes on. Hills and valleys, man, hills and valleys. When you're in the valley, you can't see shit because there's a big hill in front of you. But when you're on top of that hill, you can see for miles, and you understand a better idea of what's on the path ahead. On that note, this is Jason Wilcox, wishing everybody a blessed